I think there's so much competition in the high street restaurant bars division at the moment that any brand needs to define firstly its hallmark. That might be one or two hallmarks. That might be something about defining a unique service experience through its people, or it might be about some hero dishes, some signature dishes that they do differently, better, or completely uniquely compared to other high street brands. And once they've defined those elements, as I said, it could be one or two, but for example, two hallmarks that are unique to them through their service and through a product or products that they serve, then it's all about consistency and making sure that those things, those hallmarks, are consistently good. And if you have those two things and you can do that day in, day out, make sure those defined hallmarks are better than your competitors or different but consistently good, then that's the way you define your brand. Social media in hospitality is probably one of the most important things. I would say 80% of any promotional activity that happens in the restaurant, bar and hotel industry, more the restaurant and bar industry, is through good, solid social media. It's huge. It's so important. And I think that's down to the millennials, the people eating out nowadays. It's a lifestyle. It's very normal to go out all the time, enjoy yourself with friends or family or just with your partner. And people are doing that now. They are looking continuously through social media at what is happening, where to go, etc. It's the easiest, most convenient way of understanding what's happening in the food and drink industry. And owner-operators of those businesses have to latch onto that. And if you can introduce bloggers to your business as an owner, get them to come along and start shouting about you, your product, your location, then people will come. And I think now owner-operators are starting to understand just how important it is. And they're actually engaging in PR companies that specialize purely in social media and nothing else at all. And if it's a brand new bar restaurant on the high street, they may only start blogging or talking through social media channels about that brand maybe only 5 to 6 weeks beforehand. But the impact that has on a business, if you can track that footfall through those channels, you'll see that it's at least 80% of footfall comes through social media. There is a huge amount happening on the high street, be that in a city or in a town, masses. New brands are popping up, so everyone thinks, how can this go on? The bubble has to burst. It's all around the lifestyle and culture of the way we live nowadays. When you talk to your children about what you want to eat, it's not necessarily, they won't answer with what they want to eat, it's where are we going to go and eat it? And because there is so much choice and variety and the way we live our lives, we have less time on our hands. People are going out a lot more. And because people are going out a lot more, people are opening up a lot more different brands and high street restaurants, etc. That whole lifestyle around eating out food and drink is just making the high street seem saturated. But people are finding new places to actually put new businesses, new restaurants, new bars. And as the footfall continues to go over that threshold, it's only going to get bigger. So there's a lot happening in the high street. Is it saturated? Maybe with the amount of offers and brand and different concepts, but they're there for a reason. And some may die off, but in general, I think they're here to stay, and the high street will carry on to grow with food and drink on it. Non-exec roles are incredibly important, and obviously I would say that, being that that's one of the key things that we do, is support and give strategic advice to business operators, owners. But I think adding that elements of support, which there's no emotional attachment from us looking into that business, is really important, that we can sense check and question their ideas, their motives for doing certain things within that business, and then supporting them through that journey. But I think it's really critical that there is support from outside, but the non-executive person has to have that commitment in offering their time and expertise fully Otherwise, if we're not engaged with those businesses, there's no point offering that service. If you have an idea for a business and you want to set up a business, go to someone or people who you have no emotional attachment to whatsoever and pitch your idea to that person who has key business knowledge and maybe has been through that journey themselves before. Pitch that idea to someone who's not going to turn around to you and say something maybe slightly more comforting or not blunt or to the point because they're a friend or family. Sense check it and make sure whatever you do isn't just a good idea, it's a good business idea, because there's a huge difference between a good idea and what can work in business.